what's going on, Birdland? How are you? Welcome to another episode of Full Count Chaos. Always appreciate you taking the time out of your very busy schedule to come hang out with me and chat about those Orioles. Again, I always want to hear from you, fullcountchaos@gmail.com. Any way to get a hold of me, if you're over on YouTube right now watching the episode, feel free to comment in the section. If you're listening to this on Spotify, Apple, any audio version, remember, the show is now uploading on YouTube, so head over there if you feel like it. You know how to do it. The like and subscribe, please. Again, always want to hear from you folks. Of course, as you know, this podcast episode is brought to you by pinsandaces.com. 21% off FCC25. Golf weather is obviously here. Golf season is here. I've golfed a few times. Like I say, I don't ever want to talk about it, but go over and treat yourself something nice. DistillUnion.com, 20% off FCC25. Gadgets you forgot you needed. Stock up on. Great for birthdays. Sunglasses. I got myself a pair. Beautiful, comfortable. Love it. And I love my t-shirts. OldGlory.com, 15% off FCC25. Go ahead over there. Treat yourself something nice. And, of course, this episode is on Belly Up Sports Media. But I hope everyone's doing well. Thanks again for tuning in. An email here I'm going to get to shortly. Gentleman by the name of Joe stated that he had a conversation with his son all about how the game has changed. And he wanted to share his thoughts. And, yes, the game has changed. Any sport, hockey, basketball, whatever you talk about, the game is always evolving. It's always changing. But that conversation a lot with the old school fans, old school players, yes, baseball is changing. So we'll get to that in just a second. Want to know what your stress level is right now with the Orioles? Do you trust them? We had this conversation back when the Dodgers, when they went to L.A., almost swept the Dodgers, and I said I don't trust them. A lot of people were reaching out on X saying, no, I think this is it. I think they're good. I think we're finally seeing them. And then they shit the bed when they play the Angels. 7 in a row, 4-2 road trip. Those of you who agreed with me on you don't trust them yet, are you starting to come around a little bit? Do you trust the Orioles right now? I don't know if I trust the Orioles until they have a winning record, because I'm still stacking up on taking Tums every night. Waking up, breaking out in hives. What the hell is this? You know, my wife's like, what are those hives? I'm an Orioles fan. High blood pressure, lots of Tums, hives. Why do you watch them? I don't know. It's a problem, but I love them. 7 games in a row, 4-2 road trip. Almost could have taken 2 out of 3 against Boston, against the hottest team in baseball. My stress level went up a little bit. Basayo, Adley, both on the IL. Tyler O'Neill's coming around. Then he leaves the game the other night or last night. I don't know. That Basayo and Adley, man, it's going to be interesting to see what the Orioles do with Adley. I think the writing's on the wall. I'm pretty sure they're not going to offer an extension to Adley. You know, obviously they give the extension to Basayo a while ago. Shane Baz. And, of course, congratulations to Kyle Bradish. 5 years, $90 million. And I'm always curious, after these pitchers get an extension like that, get a big contract in the middle of the season, to see how they come out and pitch. And Bradish just came out and said, see ya. I'm going to make you all look like a bunch of fools in Boston, in your stadium, and call it a night. He had a hell of a game. But that first game against Boston, of course, the toughest team the Orioles play every night is themselves. I just think they were in panic mode. They were nervous. They know they were playing the toughest team in baseball, and they shit the bed. They had I feel like they had the lead like 5 times in like the matter of 5 innings, and they just kept blowing it. But what are they going to do with Adley? I know a lot of people are connected to Adley. He's their favorite player. You know, you love Adley. A lot of great memories. He's been a great Oriole. He's a great player now. But, 2028, at that point, you're going to give him an extension. It'll be 30 at that point. Right now, we're seeing that every other week. Something's going on with him. He's got to take a seat. Latest conversation that the media had with Adley, I don't know what the hell's wrong with him. He just started, I don't know, he was like reading a poem. My fingers, my toes, it blows, my nose. I don't know, like, what is wrong with you, Adley? But I'll tell you what, Huff ain't it. Whoo! He ain't the answer. But these Orioles right now, they go into Boston, they win the third game. I didn't even watch the second game. Dean Kramer, it's just a weird pitcher. He's like a 4 or 5 pitcher. He's going to come out, give you a good inning or good outing every now and then he's going to come out and shit the bed. You just never know. But that's what those kind of pitchers do. I looked at the score, came home. I was like, not even going to bother. I'll watch the second game. I know it's still early, but I'm not even going to bother. But Monday night, the Orioles, it was 1-1. It was turning out to be one of those games where you're like, all right, this is going to be possibly a pitching duel. Shane Baz on the mound. And we're starting to see a pattern with Shane Baz. Same thing happened in Toronto. If something bad happens in that inning, something happens mentally. It's just like, all right, I'm just going to throw a bunch of hanging sliders and throw it right down the center of the plate and give up a couple runs. 2 outs, nobody on. Jeremiah Jackson makes a bad throw to first base. All right, 2 outs, runner on first. It's fine, Shane. Get your shit together. Get out of the inning. Then we're just seeing bad baseball in the outfield. Shane giving up a couple doubles. It's 3-1 before you know it. But the Orioles did come back. They could have won that game. But again, Kyle Bradish proving to everybody, yes, you deserve that extension. Turn in to be that ace, baby. 6 innings pitched, 1 run, 4 Ks, 1 walk. Beautiful game. Good defense. That second game of the doubleheader. Great top first, 4 runs. That was the longest game ever. When the Orioles have an early lead, I feel like the games last forever. Because I'm just pacing back and forth like, can we hurry up? Is it not the 8th inning yet? It's only the 2nd inning right now? But that was glorious to see the Orioles take away the chance of the Red Sox breaking the 80-year record. 16 wins in a row. They tied it when they beat them in the first doubleheader, and that crowd was into it. Boston Stadium, Fenway, got to give it to them. It was electric. It was a little concerning. Even when the Orioles were up 4-0, those fans were in every play. If Boston got on base, it's still 4-0. They were just into it. And I'm like, man, 1 big hit, 1 big home run. This crowd's going to go nuts. The momentum's going to flip. But no, the Orioles held on, man. The Orioles held on to win that game. And, it reminded me in 2010 when the Orioles took out the Red Sox going to the playoffs with the Andino hit. Bottom of the 9th. And then here we go again. Play the Orioles. They have a chance to break the 80-year record, and the Orioles are like, nope, we're going to take a dump all over your plans. But I want to hear from you about Adley. What do you think they should do? Look, you make the right trade, and he goes, but, it benefits the Orioles. I'm okay with it. I don't think Adley's off limits. I'm seeing fans right now that are like, you get rid of Adley, you get rid of me. I'm out of here. I don't feel that way. I like Adley. I love Adley. Great player. It's been great for the Orioles. It's going to be 30 in 2028. Right now we're seeing signs. A little more. I get it. Catchers get beat up. This is what happens. But you're not going to extend Adley, then put him on first base. That's not going to happen. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. These next 2 weeks of baseball are going to be very, very interesting to buy or sell. Like I said with Adley, make the trade worth it. A lot of people freaking out. It's always weird to me. It's always funny when I see conversations on MLB Network, ESPN, social media conversations, articles. I always laugh like your everyday normal guy. Like if you work at like Amazon, you're reading the newsletter. It's like rumor is that Amazon is going to move Jerry down to sales department, but Alex over in HR is also interested in him. I don't know what's going to happen. Carl's sitting there like, wait, what? Am I leaving this department? Where am I going? But Adley's just sitting there probably after every game, wondering what's going on. Did he turn down the offer? I don't think so. I've seen some conversations where people have said, well, maybe he turned it down. I think that would have got out to the public. But right now, again, the Orioles still have a losing record. 2 under 500. That's okay. 4-2 on the road. I'm happy with that. I'm perfectly fine with that. FullCountChaos@gmail.com. Want to get to this email. By the way, William, if you're tuned in, I did see your email. I'm going to pour a nice glass of bourbon, put my feet up, read those. William is a guy who, he takes his time with writing in some emails, and they're very interesting. So, William, if you're tuned in, I haven't forgot about you. I definitely am going to take a look at that email that you sent in. All right, again, FullCountChaos@gmail.com. Joe wrote in talking about how the game has changed. And then I have some follow-up, some interesting facts about the game. Fun facts, not any facts that'll blow your mind. He goes, hello there, Mr. Funny Man Chaos. I think it's cool you now have the podcast on YouTube. I've always enjoyed listening to your audio version, but now I will be tapping into your video episodes. Anyway, your last episode you brought up on whether we like a pitching duel or is it all about offense now? My son and I were having the conversation the other day about how the game has changed. He's 22 and I'm 53. I enjoy a nice pitching duel, but he said that puts him to sleep. He wants to see a 12-10 game with home runs, bat flips, stolen bases, hit and runs, and grand slams. Him and I both agree we enjoy watching a nice hit and run play or some home runs along with stolen bases, but he wants nothing to do with a pitching duel. I also think the game has changed because batters just don't care about striking out anymore. It's all about the home runs and exit velocity. Swing as hard as you can. The game has always been about analytics, but this seems like it's getting out of control. Even the announcers show the audience the back speed and exit velocity like it means something. I don't care. Maybe other fans do. The game seems like it's bothering everyone, from the young audience to the older audience. Weird times to be a baseball fan. Joe, thank you very much for taking the time to write in. I mean, look, this conversation has been going on for a long time. Bill Ripken, you're hearing about, he'll jump in on podcasts talking about, the game's changed. Bill Ripken was on a podcast the other day. I was seeing some clips getting tossed around where he was saying the basic fundamentals of baseball, they just don't seem like they're there anymore. He felt that it seems like organizations are focusing more on launch angle, exit velocity. I posted on X the other night, I said, these Orioles, because I'm sorry, but these Oriole batters, man, a lot of them, they love watching strike three just go right down the plate. I mean, they're sitting on a pitch, they're guessing, and unfortunately, that 98 ball just whips right by them. But I said they should sit down and watch an hour video of Nick Markakis. Watch that man when he's got 2 strikes. Talk about protecting the plate. But Joe, I agree, yeah. The younger, look, I spoke to my 16-year-old nephew. I posted this the other day, too. He's a big Orioles fan. I was asking him, how do you like the Orioles? He goes, yeah, they're all right. They're boring. He said there's no superstars. He said they're just a boring team because it doesn't remind him of the Manny Machado and the Adam Jones and the Nick Markakis teams. I said, well, is there a guy on here that you maybe want to get their jersey? Again, he's 16 years old. He said maybe Basayo because he's going to be here for a while, but I thought that's sad. It's like, oh, man, like this Orioles team's putting you to sleep. There's no superstars. My wife said the same thing. She's diehard Orioles fan, but she's like, I just have no interest in any of these players. Like, anyway, whatever. Again, we're talking about a team that still has a losing record, but I think it has a lot to do with how dominant pitchers are now. I know the league is trying to make a little bit of changes here and there to try to get offense in, obviously starting with the shift. But these pitchers right now are insane. I mean, pitching is so much more dominant than it used to be. I mean, the average strikeouts, just go back to 2006. It was 6 per game. Now they're almost 9 per game. Now, it could be, yeah, maybe the offense, they're more all about just exit velocity, hitting home runs. They don't care about striking out. The league average early 2000s was 270. Now it's 240. The average fastball, 2000, like early 2000s, mid 2000s, was 90 miles an hour. Now it's 95. Like when you see a pitcher from the bullpen come in throwing 94, 95, first thing I think of is, all right, good. he's not throwing 100. You know, but 25 years ago, a guy will come in throwing 95. You'd be like, oh, shit. I mean, back in the early 2000s, look, I'm not going back 30, 40 years here, but the fastball usage in the early 2000s was 65% of the time. Now pitchers are only throwing it 45% of the time. The spin rate, these pitchers are throwing filthy pitches now. I mean, back in the mid-90s, you look at these bullpen arms that come out, throw an average of like 86 miles an hour. Some fat pitches, too. I mean, you think of these guys now, big, strong, athletic guys. Think about a bullpen guy coming in throwing like 83 to 86. It would be like a softball score at the end of the day. I mean, the bats that they use now are lighter. I think it's hilarious. Babe Ruth used a 42-ounce bat. Ty Cobb, Lou Gehrig, they were using 36 to 38-ounce bats. I mean, of course, now players use bats like 31 to 33 ounce. You know, they also use different wood for bats now. I thought it was interesting that Barry Bonds, now some people may write in and say, no, that's not true. This guy did. But anyway, what I'm saying is Barry Bonds helped make maple bats more popular in the game. I was reading about that, but like I said, you know, sometimes I say these little fun facts and people say, no, that's not true. So-and-so is the one that made maple bats popular. But maple, it's harder, denser. Also using maple, I read that companies can make these bats with thinner handles, lighter weight. But you need that. These pitchers, they throw so hard. They need a lighter bat. I mean, the average bat speed is 71 to 72 miles an hour. Stanton, Aaron Judge, guys like that, they're swinging at 80. Now, it was funny. It was a big dumb moment because I was going back trying to see, like in the mid-90s, early 2000s, bat speed. But it just kept coming out they didn't have technology for that. I think they did have the technology, but they just didn't give a shit about putting bat speed in the data system. But yes, Joe, you're exactly right. Times have changed. I remember when these players 5-6 years ago were doing bat flips, and oh boy, old school players, old school fans, they didn't like that. But trying to get the younger crowd involved. They're trying to do everything they can with getting more offense involved. You know, the conversation I'm seeing a little more, I know years ago the mound was like 10 feet high, and they finally had to bring that down. But maybe bring the pitcher's mound down to ground level. I wouldn't be opposed to that. The pitchers these days, it's just insane. Guys throwing 193 curves down and away. Like, yeah, it's no wonder the average have dropped 30 points from just like 10 years ago. But Joe, you're right, man. The game has changed. Kurt Herbstreit. This is a guy who, I sound like John Madden. This is a guy who, but he's known for college football. He also does Thursday night football, which is so boring. Thursday night football is always boring as it is. But when Kirk and Al Mike, oh my God. It's like they put me to sleep. Like I want to watch the game. I want to finish the game, but they put me to sleep. Anyway, a couple weeks ago, this was trending. He wanted to speak up about baseball. I think he's like in his mid-40s, right? Late 40s. He says, excuse me, if you're watching this on YouTube, I have it up right now on the screen. Oh, man. Apologize. Sorry. He says, this game has been dying with the youth of America for years and now is losing the core fan base as well with this ridiculous product we've had to digest for the last 7 to 10 years. Bring back small ball and athleticism. This shit is dreadful. He continues. Where's Tony Gwynn, Rod Carew, Wade Boggs, Ichiro? Those guys wouldn't exist in today's ridiculous home run or strikeout launch angle game. He finishes with, where did the athletic ability go? Clutch hitting in the 8th and 9th inning. Starting pitching that goes 8 or 9 innings. Base stealing. Hell, just good base running and speed. Sack bunts. Moving runners over late in the game. Yeah, so there you go. I mean, even Kurt was like, let me get in on this. Let me get in on this. The game has changed. I mean, that's why it's frustrating, because it's like these batters now could hit 228, but they'll hit 45 home runs a game and they'll get the big payday. Look at Juan Soto. So that's all it takes now. That's why I don't think batters care about striking out, because it's all about the exit velocity. It's all about the home run. Although Tyler Ward, we brought him on for a power bat, and then he comes on, he's like, nah, I'd like to just get on base. I mean, talk about old school baseball. Any way you can get on base. But again, do you trust the Orioles right now? Oh, by the way, wanted to show you this before we wrap this up. Oh no, did I delete the photo? See if I can find that photo. Oh, here it is. So the storm came in. There was a bad storm in Baltimore. Our power went out. I didn't get to see that Astros game where late in innings, the Astros had the bases loaded, no outs, and somehow the Orioles still won that game. You want to talk about depressing moments. Those Astro fans must have went straight to therapy that next day. That is a bad game to lose. But anyway, our power went out. The hail was beating the shit out of our windows. I thought for sure we were going to have some busted windows. But down the street, my wife and I, after it was settled down, we drove around and looked at this house. This is down the street. If you're on the YouTube app right now, here's the photo of, look at this tree. I mean, it completely ripped out of the ground. It missed that house by about a foot. You want to talk about a good time buying a lottery ticket because you feel shit's on your side? That would be it. But look at that. The noise and the vibration that tree must have, they must have felt in the house. But it just missed that house by a foot. But yeah, that was a bad storm. If you're in the Baltimore area, I'm sure you felt it too. A lot of people I know were out of power for a long time. Trees were down everywhere. Power lines were down. It was dangerous. Bad stuff. But anyway, how do you feel right now? 4-2 road record. Almost took 2 or 3. Almost. I hate saying that because it's either win or lose. There's no almost. But they could have, they gave a good fight against the hottest team in baseball. I love seeing that the Orioles didn't let the Red Sox break the record. Love it. Always want to hear from you. Again, fullcountchaos@gmail.com. Orioles have a day off Thursday, so they're going to start back up on Friday against Atlanta. We'll see how that goes. But until next time, folks.